Hello all, this is Dr. Dave Maslak talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video I want to talk to you about how to actually write faster as a professor or a PhD. Maybe it's a graduate student, and why you probably actually don't want to do that. So if you don't know me, I am an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I want to pay the favor for it and help you out. So a lot of the research community is focused on being quicker and optimizing each one of your research steps. And many of us sort of think about this on a regular basis. So as a business professor who studied engineering in my undergraduate degree, and now I study strategy, I think about optimization a lot and how to do things quicker and faster and doing things with a lot more efficiency. And at an early point of this whole reciprocity project, I was really focused on using it as a way to improve my efficiency, right? If I could figure out some sort of software tool or innovation, technological innovation to help me write much more quicker and design it and build it. And that's what the whole, sharing economy editing platform is all about. But, the reason why I actually did that was to improve my own efficiency and to make my experience as somebody who writes on a regular basis a lot more fun, a lot more exciting, and to be able to do it a lot more faster, right? So that's what I'm thinking about with efficiency is how many words, how many pages you can write per day on a regular basis, right? It's not just thinking about it just in a sort of a one sitting kind of deal, but thinking about how to write faster and be more prolific over the course of your lifetime. And so, you can think of many different ways to do this in terms of writing faster. So one way to do this is to actually get somebody else to do your writing for you. A lot of academia is focused on that in terms of finding other people that can help you write and be part of your team, right? So if you can build a sort of a lab with different PhD students, graduate students, as other professors, and you're maybe doing co-authorships and things like that, then you can probably write a lot more quicker, or you should be, at least theoretically, because you're sharing the workload, right? And if you can sort of give other people the responsibility to work, then you can actually do it a lot more quicker. And again, I should point out a lot of academia is sort of focused on that in terms of figuring out how all these co-authorship kind of relationships work. And that's really what they're all about, is looking at efficiency. Another way to do it is to think about technology and build in different ways in your routine of using different technology, right? So I use Google Voice on a regular basis. So you go into Google Docs and then you can do the voice. I use the MacBook, the Siri program that they have. I do that all the time, and I actually got a MacBook for that in terms of doing the voice to text. It works pretty good, but you still have to go back and check it out. It makes it more natural to write, but I don't think it necessarily makes it quicker unless you're a really good talker. And another way you can do this, and we talk about this in strategy a lot, is you could specialize in certain topics, because if you specialize in certain topics, then you already know the knowledge within that particular area, and so you can write that knowledge a lot more quicker than you would if you didn't specialize in a particular topic and you became a generalist, for example. Now, what I want to point out, though, is that it's not, in terms of academics, in terms of doing good research, it's really not how quickly you write something, and it's not about the speed of actually getting something done that allows you to develop as a scholar and to build a name for yourself, right? So I see this as a mistake a lot of times with people that are kind of new in the career as they're entering in, and that maybe they're a new PhD student and they think that they're going to write a tremendous amount, that they're going to get a lot of manuscripts within the first couple of years, and then become famous for all the manuscripts that they have developed. And that was something that I actually did. And I thought the more I actually worked, the harder I worked, the more hours I put in, the more that, the more prolific I was going to be. And there is a bit of a, there is a linear relationship there. There's a little bit of a relationship with that. But what's more important, and this is a dilemma that we actually talk about in strategy and innovation a lot, it's more about that you're trading off when you are optimizing on something, you are trading off what is called exploiting a certain topic and being really knowledgeable in a topic versus exploring and going into different areas. And Jim March, famous scholar, he wrote about this and thought about this, and also had tremendous impacts in many different areas in computing, including computer science. And really what we're looking at with this is how do you actually search a literature and how do you make sense of, the world around you. You have to do things that are optimizing and focus on speeding things up, but you also have to do, and particularly when you're an academic or you're going into scholarly studies, you have to do a lot of exploratory stuff, which slows you down. It's really slow. It's pretty wasteful to explore and go into different areas, but it is really important, and that is a big component of what we do as academics. So I spend a great deal of my time actually not writing and thinking about different things rather than actually writing. And much of the stuff that I actually do is actually deleting the stuff that I wrote and going back and redoing the stuff that I wrote. So have that in mind, that it's not about optimizing and writing more stuff and more content. It's actually a lot about thinking about what you're writing. And in fact, really good scholars, the ones that are top in the field, they'll spend days thinking about paragraphs that they wrote and redoing paragraphs, or thinking about words that they wrote and redoing the words and thinking about construct definitions, all sorts of stuff like that. And you will notice that people that are top in their field and they have really sharp ideas, they generally actually don't write a lot, or it doesn't show that they're extremely prolific compared to, some other people. Now, that there's definitely, that's a generalization. Some people are really prolific at the same time and have very impactful ideas, but lots of people really focus on the ideas that they say as well, and they really dig down into some of these topical areas or things that they've thought about. And it takes a lot of effort for them to think about certain things, and so they're going to rewrite something over and over and over and over again. And so you're writing a lot, and you're probably writing very quickly, but at the same time you're actually writing really slowly because you're thinking about each and every word that you've actually thought about. Now, the ultimate goal should be more about the idea and thinking about something that's really insightful rather than writing a lot. So for you, in terms of your productivity, in terms of becoming a professor or a PhD, what I would think about is a combination of doing this. And this is kind of what we know within the exploration exploitation literature that sort of looks at this. And this is a huge part of the innovation literature where we focus on this. You want to do probably somewhere around, maybe in our field, you probably want to do somewhere around the 50% range that you're trying to write a lot and look at efficiency. But then 50% of your time should be doing a lot of exploratory stuff and going into different literatures and maybe reading different things that you wouldn't have read about before. And combining that and looking for that, that's where you're going to find the sweet spot where you can be, coming up with really interesting ideas, but at the same time having sort of being prolific and writing as much as you possibly can. If you could balance that and have those, have that balance where you're doing both of those, you're going to do well in the long run and not run out of any ideas or anything like that in the long run. So that's what I think in terms of how do you actually write faster as a professor and as a doctoral student. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do appreciate it. Take care and have a wonderful day. All right. Bye.